Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we will continue with our first unit, which is titled, Did You Hurt Yourself? Our lesson today is the language in context and the listening part in your books, page 8. All you need for the lesson today is your books on page 8, a sheet of paper and a pen to take down your notes. So let's get started. We will start with the homework from the grammar lesson. It is actually in your books, page 80. This is exercise H. Show agreement with the following statements, then write the sentences use so or because. Here you're going to tell me that you too. You will say me too instead using neither or so. I haven't eaten anything all day. Me too. This is a sentence, is the negative. Haven't. Agreement. Neither have I. Neither, because it's negative. Have I, just change the order. Then, I want to give a reason in here, so I will say, I haven't eaten anything all day. Why? Because I was busy. I can use so, and I say, I was busy, so I haven't eaten anything all day. Next, number 2, I went to bed late last night. You will tell me that you did too. So you will say a positive sentence. So did I. So did I. Me too. Why? Let's give a reason. I went to bed late last night. Why? Because I had a project to finish. We can use so, change the order of the sentence. So we can say, I had to finish a project last night, so I went to bed late. How about number 3? I visited my uncle last weekend, and I did too. Me too. A sentence, it is positive, so we can use so. So did I. Did, because it is a verb in the simple past tense. Let's give a reason. I visited my uncle last weekend because he wasn't feeling good. We can use so. My uncle wasn't feeling good, so I visited him last weekend. One more. I very seldom cut myself. This is actually a sentence giving you a negative meaning. So neither do I. Neither do I. A reason. I very seldom cut myself. Why? Because I always use the right equipment. You can write it the other way around. I always use the right equipment, so I very seldom cut myself. Number 5, I always brush my teeth before I go to bed. I do too. Sentence in the give you a positive meaning. So do I. Let's give a reason. I always brush my teeth before I go to bed. So, my teeth, or they are clean and healthy. Also, my teeth are clean and healthy. Why? Because I always brush them before I go to bed. Okay? So we have done 2 things, agreement, and the second, giving a reason. For our lesson today, by the end of today's lesson, you will be able to form sentences about injuries. We are going to take some verbs related to injuries. Answer some questions on a listening text and give the meaning of some new vocabulary or new words. Let's get started with these. Can you give words that are about injury? We have discussed these in the discussion lesson, the first lesson. Any word or any verb that means hurt, injured. We have the word hurt, cut, wound, also fracture, bruise, scratch, we're having harm, break, burn, and we're having injure. And we're having more and more. For our lesson today, we're going to take more, and which one is related to which part of the body. Now in your books, page 8. Here we're having from 1 to 6. Each one of these, you are going to match it with the suitable picture. You're having 6 pictures underneath. Which one gives you the meaning of sprain ankle? It is actually picture B. Look at it here. This part of the body is the ankle. Here, it connects the leg with the foot, spraining an ankle. So you can say that he sprained his ankle. Sprained his ankle. Can you give a reason? What happened? I could say that he was running, so he sprained his ankle. Ran, then sprained. Or let's use because. I can say he sprained his ankle. Why? Because he was running or he was playing football. How about the second one in here? We're having poke, eye. Which picture gives you the meaning of poking an eye? It is actually C. Poking an eye, you could poke your eye with a pen, with a straw, just like the picture in your books, with a finger, anything which is come into your eye. So we can say he poked himself in the eye. Poked himself in the eye. Can you give me a reason why he poked himself in the eye? I could say that he was drinking with a straw, and so he poked himself in the eye with the straw. Or you can write it the other way around. He poked himself in the eye with a straw. Why? Because he was drinking or he was using a straw. Poking, when you put anything inside your eye. The following, number 3, fracture and arm. Fracture. It means just like breaking. Which picture is suitable? We can say it is actually F. Picture F. Let's come up with the sentence. She fractured her arm. This part is the arm. She fractured her arm. You could fracture or break any bone in your body. So we can say, what happened? Let's give a reason. She was running, so she fractured her arm. She was climbing a tree, so she fractured her arm. We can change the order. She fractured her arm. Why? Because she was running. The following, number 4, burn and hand. Burning. You could burn yourself with fire, hot liquids. So we can say it could be matched with picture D. You can match it with D. He burned his hand. If you are touching something that is hot, it could be the iron. You are burning yourself. What happened? What was he doing? He was cooking, so he burned his hand. Or you can write it the other way around. He burned his hand. Why? Because he was cooking. So you could burn yourself if you were cooking. How about number 5, cutting finger? Which picture is the most suitable? We can use picture A. Here and here, she cut her finger. How could you cut your finger? With knife, with scissors, anything that is sharp. With the glass as well. So what happened? We can come up with a sentence and give reason. She was chopping carrots, cutting carrots, so she cut her finger. Or we can say that she cut her finger because she was chopping carrots. Chopping or cutting with the knife. The last one, which is breaking a nose. Which picture is the most suitable for breaking a nose? We can say it's picture E. If something, maybe the tennis ball hits you, if you hit the wall or anything that would hit your nose, you could break your nose. Then we will have a bleeding or a fracture. So we can say that he broke his nose. Notice, break is an irregular verb, so broke. He broke his nose. Can you give a reason what happened? I would say that he was playing tennis, so he broke his nose. He wasn't so careful. He broke his nose because he was playing tennis. And you can give any other reason. Okay, let's try to match these verbs, sprain, fracture, and the others with the body parts. We're having eye, arm, nose, finger, hand, and ankle. Can you match each one with the suitable body part? So you can sprain. What could you sprain? You sprain an ankle. You sprain your ankle. Also, you fracture or you can break. You can break your arm, your leg. It could be even you can fracture any bone in your body. How about poke? When you poke, poking an eye. Poke an eye. How about burning? You could burn your hand. You could burn it with fire. Also about cutting. If you are chopping with a knife, cutting a finger. You can cut your finger. And the last one, which is breaking, you can break your nose. You can break a nose. So this is how to match a word, or let's say the suitable verb or the injury, with the suitable body part. These they are. We've talked actually about these. What are the best way to avoid these accidents, or let's say these injuries? The most important precaution that we can take is to be careful. Use the right equipment. Keep children out of the kitchen or out of the bathroom. Use the correct equipment, not to use a knife to open a can, just like in the discussion lesson. Also, if you are working with electricity, just avoid using it when it is on or when your hands are wet. We're having many advice that we can tell to be aware and to avoid these household accidents. If I'm going to ask you this question, who is most likely in the family to get hurt? Compare you to your parents, to your older and younger siblings, brothers and sisters. Who is most likely to have an accident within the house? Is it you, your parents, or older or younger siblings? Usually children. Children are most likely to get hurt. Why do you think so? I believe because they are not aware of their surroundings. If we're having, which accidents are most likely to happen for children? Which one would you suggest? For me, I believe that they are most likely what happen, they will fall. Maybe you will tell me about your experience with your brothers and sisters in the house. You will tell that they might burn themselves or they might drown in the swimming pool. It depends on your experience. Okay, now we're going to go to the listening part, but before that, let's introduce the listening. We're having many types of listening. The first one is about content listening. What is content? You will look for very specific information. I will tell you, listen and give me the name of the speaker, or where are they from? Very specific information. Or you are supposed to listen for comprehensive listening. You will listen for the general idea. I will tell you what is the whole text about. It's about this or that. Also, you could be asked about critical listening. This time, it's not about the general idea. You will give your opinion. I like, I don't like, I agree, or I disagree. Critical listening. Or the last type, it is emphatic listening, how you feel towards them. Do you feel happy if you had the same situation? Do you feel sorry for the speaker? How you feel towards the text. Okay, how are you going to listen? You will follow the steps that you follow in a listening activity. The first and the most important thing is to read the questions. Why? Because I want you to know what are you listening for. Is it comprehension or just for a specific information? Then you will listen carefully. And this part, now you have a purpose in your mind and you will listen and listen carefully. Later, you will listen and take notes. Taking notes is very important skill. Just try to take notes while you are listening so you can answer the questions. Okay, now I want you to listen, and this time it is a comprehensive listening. You will listen for the general idea to come up with the answer for this question. What is the psychologist, the speaker, talking about? What is the main idea of the speech that he is giving? Listen and tell.
Most of the accidents involving young children happen in the home. Children are naturally curious. They explore and want to find out about things for themselves. If you leave a child out of your sight for a minute, the child will usually get into something. You should try to keep anything dangerous out of the reach of young children. It's very common for children to swallow their parents' pills because the children think the pills are candy. Any sparkling liquid might be confused with soda. The kitchen is a common place for children to have accidents. The stove seems to attract children most of the time. They want to check out what parents are cooking, so they knock over pots and pans and often burn themselves seriously. Electric sockets are another children's favorite. Make sure the sockets in your house are finger-proof. If you live in an apartment building and your building doesn't have window bars, keep all the windows locked in case children want to climb on the windowsills and look out. It's even worse if you have a balcony. Some people actually build safety nets to prevent children from falling off balconies. But I think parents' approach to dangerous situations is the most important thing, including things shown on TV. Don't let your child believe that he or she can fly or climb up the side of a 40-story building. Wearing a superhero costume doesn't make anyone a superhero who can fly. If you teach your children how to deal with danger, you will help to keep them out of harm's way.
Okay, so what is the psychologist talking about? The main idea. It is actually about household dangers for children. So what is so dangerous? The things that are dangerous or might cause injury for children within the house. So household injuries for young children. Now this is the comprehensive. Now let's go to the details. Now we're having a long list of pills, matches, sockets, refrigerator, hot liquids, bathroom. Then we have knives, stove, door, pots and pans, windows, and superheroes. Listen and check which one of these was mentioned while the psychologist is speaking. Let's listen, and I want you to put a tick next to the thing that is mentioned. Let's listen together.
Most of the accidents involving young children happen in the home. Children are naturally curious. They explore and want to find out about things for themselves. If you leave a child out of your sight for a minute, the child will usually get into something. You should try to keep anything dangerous out of the reach of young children. It's very common for children to swallow their parents' pills because the children think the pills are candy. Any sparkling liquid might be confused with soda. The kitchen is a common place for children to have accidents. The stove seems to attract children most of the time. They want to check out what parents are cooking, so they knock over pots and pans and often burn themselves seriously. Electric sockets are another children's favorite. Make sure the sockets in your house are finger-proof. If you live in an apartment building and your building doesn't have window bars, keep all the windows locked in case children want to climb on the windowsills and look out. It's even worse if you have a balcony. Some people actually build safety nets to prevent children from falling off balconies. But I think parents' approach to dangerous situations is the most important thing, including things shown on TV. Don't let your child believe that he or she can fly or climb up the side of a 40-story building. Wearing a superhero costume doesn't make anyone a superhero who can fly. If you teach your children how to deal with danger, you will help to keep them out of harm's way.
Okay, so which ones are mentioned by the speaker? We're having actually pills. They will think that pills are candy. Also, there was a mention for the stove. They will knock over to check, then it might spill over them. We're having also pots and pans, the same idea in here. Also, we're having sockets. They might put their fingers inside and they will get electric shocks. Also, we're having the windows. They might want to jump out of the window or to explore to check what is in there. And there was a mention of the idea of superheroes. When they are wearing a costume, which is special clothing, they might think that they can do the same. Okay, these are the things that were mentioned within the speech. Some of the words that were mentioned in here, we're having children are naturally curious. What do we mean by curious? Someone is curious, someone is eager to know or learn something. They keep asking questions. They want to know new things or things that they don't know. So we can say, I began to be curious about the space lately. Lately, I became much more curious. I am eager to learn about space, about the stars and these things. Also, there is a word about sparkling. Sparkling, it means shining brightly with flashes of light. It is sparkly, just like the stars, sparkles. So we can say the star is sparkling, just like a diamond. Also, we're having the word costume. It is a costume. It is actually the set of clothes, typically of a particular country or a period of history, suitable for a particular activity. Just like if a child is dressed into a Superman's dress, how they dress, so they will pretend to be someone else. So we can tell the children were wearing traditional costumes, maybe the costume for this country rather than that country. Let's try to use these words. I need to buy a hero for the play, the clothing. So it is a costume. Kids are naturally, that's why they ask lots of questions. Someone who's asking too many questions, we will say that they are curious. Her eyes were and was almost crying. She was almost crying. Her eyes were sparkling. They were just like shining. Okay? Let's ask these questions. Which do you think the most dangerous place for children at home? We're having the kitchen, we're having the bathroom. Let's speak about the kitchen. Do you think it is the most children are most likely to have accidents within the kitchen? I believe yes. They might burn themselves, they might cut themselves. How about the playroom? Playrooms could be dangerous for them, however, less likely to have accidents. You can tell about the bathrooms. Bathrooms are dangerous for children. We can tell that they may drown in there, they might slip and fall in there, or they might poison if they drink or taste some of the, let's say maybe a soap or a shampoo. So you can give a name of a room and what kind of accidents might happen here or there. How can we avoid household accidents? When children are home, we believe that they are the safest in here. However, most of the accidents happen within the house. How can we protect or avoid household accidents? We have to always put an eye on your kids or on your siblings. Never leave them alone, an attendant. And always, if you're having sockets or you're having maybe hot liquids, keep them away or make your house children-proof or danger-proof. Okay? So these they are. For your homework, I want you to check your books on page 50. Your books, page 50. We're having an exercise there, exercise E. Exercise E in your books, page 50. Okay? I guess that is it for the lesson today. And thank you so much for your time.